I recently saw a Mythbuster video where they tested that classic iconic scene in Westerns where a man's hat gets shot off his head and flies down the street. So what they did to test this Hollywood iconic scene was to put a hat on a table and shoot it 3 times with a .45. The bullets went right through the hat didn't budge. I got to thinking about how much the image of the Hollywood martial artist had affected today's teachings and the misimpressions that parents and students have about what can actually be done in the martial arts. I think what comes to mind initially is the classic scene where somebody says he's going to push your nose bone right through your brain and kill you if you do such and such. Well, guess what? In Hollywood, Bruce Willis does a palm strike to the bad guy's face and he drops dead. Well, in reality, there is no hard nose bone. It's all soft cartilage. And if you do a palm strike like that, yes, he'll have a bad nosebleed and a headache and won't feel real good, but there's no bone in there to shove into his brain. It's a Hollywood myth. And sadly, nowadays, due to the advent of YouTube videos, a lot of the demos we see fall into that same category. They tend to be unrealistic techniques. They look good, but they have very little basis in effective real martial arts. What a lot of people don't understand is that in the traditional martial arts, it's a long, slow process, but that's because it's not only about fighting. It's about developing health. It's about learning behavior. It's about physical fitness. And it's about self-defense and combat, which is why it's called martial arts. But a lot of the videos we see where the person doing the demo stands there and a student who's been pre-briefed on what to do throws a technique and then stands there with his arm out in the air straight while the person making the video does 800 different techniques all in a row, making it look all snazzy, and then the person goes flying through the air. Well, that's not what happens in real life, and a lot of times these demos forget one of the core principles of Hapkido, which is that of economy of motion. In a real Hapkido fight, if you go more than 60 seconds to a minute and a half, you've done something wrong, because a real Hapkido fight is fairly deadly, and it's certainly meant to end the threat in a hurry. Another classic, iconic martial arts move that we see is the hero who catches the bad guy's punch. Bad guy throws a straight-on punch. Good guy catches it in his fist, in his hand, like a catcher catching a baseball, and then twists the wrist, and the man goes flying. Another Hollywood invention that does not work in real life. So I would caution those who watch movies. Now, I for one love them. I love martial arts movies. I love Jackie Chan. And more than that, I love seeing the outtakes at the end of the Jackie Chan movies where they show somebody off camera catching Jackie Chan and then helping fling him back into the camera as if Jackie Chan had just taken a punch or a kick and was doing a kip-up all by himself. I think those outtakes do a lot to help us understand the reality. The Karate Kid was a great movie, very simple and very basic, but a lot of the movies out there forget that it's not about wild and crazy moves. It's about simplicity and going back to basics. And I really think that if you want to study the martial arts and you want to learn how to defend yourself, if you want to learn how to get in better shape, I think you do better not to watch these videos. I once read that a very famous leader of Navy SEAL team actually prohibited his men from watching war movies because they got the feeling that you could run down the street with a machine gun and a flopping belt and shooting bad guys while running your machine gun, while at the same time they're missing you with their machine guns. It just it's a great entertainment, but it's not valuable, and it can be outright dangerous for students. So please take all the movie stuff and all the video stuff with a grain of salt and listen to your instructor and make sure that you have verified his lineage. You make sure that what he's telling you is true and verifiable, and there are ways to do that. And just bear down, practice, and study. Thank you. This is, again, Dr. Ronald Stone, and have a nice afternoon.